Hey guys, so this is going to be a pretty short BIM and Code talk, but I just wanted to say that since I've picked up Python and really started trying to leverage it uh, in my day-to-day kind of BIM coordination job, I've found that it's incredibly flexible. You know, you can do it, you can use it in so many different things. You know, you can get into Dynamo and leverage Python in there. You can jump into Revit's macros and create a Python script in there. And then outside of it, you can use Python for a variety of things. So, like right now, I'm working on 7 or 8, more or less 8, but 7 projects really. And the reason why there's so many is I find, hey, this is really useful. I don't want to dump that idea off. I'll create a project, and then I'll use my template that has notes and different things like that in there, and then I'll generate it from time to time. But generally, I'll focus on one project, and then I'll take the information I learned there and spread it across to the other ones, because I am still learning programming. So what I learn in one project is usually applicable to others. So I make sure to kind of move that information to those other areas as well. So like currently I'm working on 7. This 8th one is I found out you can use GIS stuff and you can play. You can mess around with that really easily. So I was like, oh, I'll set something up and just call it playing, and I'm more or less getting in there and seeing what I can do with it. But these other ones, I got design delegation using machine learning. So the approach I'm going to use with this is leveraging Python to essentially, extract all the data from a Revit model, and then from there I'll push it to a machine learning platform like Azure Machine Learning, or I'll run it in Python so that I can then, and I want to do it the same way that Google almost, or any spam filtering software does it, where it doesn't necessarily look at the structure of the sentences that are in a spam email, but more on the keywords in an email. And to do that, I want to start with an initial data set of a variety of different words that would prompt something to be kind of design delegation. And design delegation, if you don't know, is essentially when an architect or an engineer or somebody will shift almost ownership from from something to another party involved. And sometimes they'll do it on their documents, like on their design documents. You'll get in there and it'll say, hey, this isn't, make sure that you need to do this, or go in there and actually measure these dimensions, because none of these dimensions are real, or whatever the case is. What I'll do is I'll just open up the. So I just went ahead and opened the design delegation to give you kind of more clear examples than me trying to spitball them. So like, do not scale drawing, work to figured dimensions. All dimensions to be checked. Do not scale drawing. Use dimensions shown. Do not scale the drawing. We make no representation as the completeness, currency, or accuracy because of reasons inherent to a CAD. Some of these kind of minor, delegations, some aren't as apparent as others, but some aren't such a big deal as some others would be. But if I could take keywords out of these sentences and even build upon this list, and then automatically look at a set of PDFs, a set of CAD drawings, a set of Revit models, automatically get in there and identify where at does it find these keywords. And again, this is using kind of the same practice that a spam filter would use. And the difference between that and like a something else is the fact that it's looking for keywords and not the structure. Whereas maybe in Word, where now that when you start to type out a sentence, it kind of tries to tell you, hey, you don't need this comma here, or you may want to reduce this because you're kind of extending that sentence more than what it needs to be. That's looking more at the structure, where something like this would be more, looking at keywords within the model PDF or CAD file to, that's delegating or a responsibility to somebody else. So, that's just one project, and there's a variety of other ones I'm working on, but like the machine learning journey is what I call it, but it's room data and machine learning. And there's a variety of usage that I'm trying to get out of this, but for example, if we know, we have all these healthcare facilities and all kind of built, with the same stuff, how can we anticipate how many people are going to be involved? If this room, this lab, or this patient room is this way, can we anticipate based off of this type of building, if it's 2-story, 1-story, multi-story, whatever, that, what's going to be in that room? Can we populate it already with a base model and add the, needed families in there? Or even after the fact, we go, do conceptual design, we get into a more detailed design, start actually, creating these rooms. Can we, when we assign specific areas to a room, can we then add families automatically without even having to do anything? We don't have to look at a list or we don't have to look at a kind of a predefined list or whatever the case is to start adding these, but to automatically get them in there so that we can start moving stuff around, reducing it if needed, but then even learning upon that. So taking, this example of, a patient room, and then seeing the equipment that's already been added, automatically based off of the other hospitals, and then, learning upon, what it is that you remove or what it is that you keep, and then, constantly kind of redefining what's that process is going to do. Again, the machine learning side of all of this. So that's the machine learning one is my biggest one, and it's really complex and has a lot of ins and outs. So I want to make sure, when I create it, it's going to work right. So, and there's so many things I don't know. So, and that's where all these other tiny little projects really come in handy, because, web scraping, maybe I can, use that and tie it in some way to the room data by, taking information from specific sites that have to do with these different families, whatever the case is. In this example, I actually just scrape another BIM person's website of all their links so that I can go through them and actually take a look at them and, essentially learn from them. PDF editing, analytics. All this does is we have all our PDFs throughout the firm. What's nice with Python, and the reason why I mentioned flexibility, is the fact that it doesn't have, we're not limited to, structured data. It can be incredibly unstructured, and the biggest data, a lot of the data we have is historic data. We don't have to just build upon, from the time we create the application and so on. We can grab everything from, since we started using computers, we can grab a lot of that information. We can have, flexibility with our code to look at a variety of different documents, pull that information out and structure it some way into a database that we can then leverage in machine learning. And that's the idea with this, is to look at all this different project content, pull that information out of it, and then use it in machine learning. And Python really allows that flexibility. And BIMX plans essentially, not just generate it, but take an existing BIMX plan, tie into that, and then fill it with the correct information from just one point of entry. Data extraction for Power BI. So this workflow was actually going to a website, going through all the processes that would need to be done to pull down the metrics file and then push it to a Power BI dashboard. Revit family properties data extraction. So, pulling a variety of data, family properties out of a facility, and then kind of examining them, and then you even using machine learning to anticipate, what family is needed where, or what the bulk of our families are, where the bulk of them are. and also within this is that I'm also trying to compare 2018 and 2019's family properties as well, so that I can see, which ones, to essentially just monitor our existing family libraries so that we can keep up to date. So this one kind of does a variety of things, but it'll look at the modification date, say, hey, you have this family and this family. This one was modified, this one hasn't been updated, and then even go to the point where it's auto-updating these. But it really depends on what's being changed in the Revit family from version to version. So GIS is just literally grabbing coordinates off of a map and then the image that's associated with that. And what's neat about this is that maybe you can even tie this in at a kickoff. A project kickoff. You create the project number here, the site location, all that information, and then have a GIS, or Python script to kind of go out there, grab that location, automatically populate that on maybe your dashboard or a Power BI dashboard, or automatically populate that as the image for your or on a cover sheet, whatever the case is, or add it automatically to a Word doc so that everyone hey, oh, this is the location, this is where we would go to get to it, and just automatically get that information so that you don't have to do it, create that redundancy, workflow. So, yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about, was the flexibility of Python, what you can do with it. I think it really helps with my day-to-days, and what's nice, and this is kind of the consensus that I hear across the industry, is that Python is incredibly flexible software, but you may not take it. It can hit all these different things, such as statistics, machine learning, visualization. A variety of different things, but in some sectors, it's not the best of the best. Such as R can do some things that a lot more things than Python or MATLAB or whatever it's called can do more. For what it was for what it's doing, but what makes Python amazing is the flexibility in the software itself, and it's constantly evolving, and there's so many libraries out there that are constantly improving. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, let you guys know what I've kind of been working on. So hopefully you get some ideas out of this, and if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm always open and always looking to talk with people. So thanks a lot for watching, and like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks a lot.